All right. Well, hi everyone. My name is Natalia Laver. I am a gold consultant with Team Horizon. Today we're going to go over taxes. Yay, fun stuff. So question, is anybody on here who are brand new to being a 1099 employee? You guys can unmute yourself or write in the chat. You, okay. Ladina, when did you join?
I joined September,
Okay.
but I didn't make much last year. So this year,
Mhm.
for next year taxes will be when I really
Well, only
to
been
know more about it, because I
Did
know
you
a
guys,
little about the write-offs and stuff, but yeah.
okay. Did you guys already file your taxes for this last year or no? You did? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'm kind of like in the same situation, except I joined in August, and most of my bookings I did, well, I did some of the bookings last year, but most of my clients are traveling this year. So now I'm getting more of that income coming in. So same situation, but I did have a W-2 and I had a 1099 last year from another job. So this is where this knowledge is coming from. Let me just again. All right. I just want to make a disclaimer. So I am not a tax expert. All right. So what I'm sharing with you guys here is going to be more just to kind of help you along. I would still highly recommend talking to a tax expert, talking to the CPA. When I first started a 1099 position, like I said, this was before I even became a travel agent. The first thing I did was schedule an appointment with a CPA, sat down with her, went over the situation, right? Because everybody's, family situation is different, right? Everybody's work situation is different. If you're just a 1099 employee versus a W-2 employee, right? If you have several 1099 positions too, you have to keep your tax write-offs and tax expenses separate, right? For each 1099 you guys have. So still talk to your CPA, right? Like I said, I've had a discussion with her several times. My mom is a tax expert. She's an accountant, even though she doesn't do my taxes because I don't want her in my business. But anyways, let me go ahead and share the screen. And what I will do is I will share some of these links in the chat, but when I will post the video later on, I will also include the links in my YouTube channel. Okay, so you guys can uh, save these for right now and then kind of follow along. All right, can everybody see my screen okay? Just write in the chat or something. I can't see you guys. Yes, okay. All right. So first thing first, right? So we are home-based travel agents, right? So we can claim some home office deductions. Those are fun, okay? We can claim a lot of stuff off. Okay, sorry, I'm just checking the chat. All right. But if you're not sure, you can, do this little quiz, do you have a 1099 income, right? Do you commute to the office or is your home is your workspace? Yes. And then do you work from home regularly, which we do, right? And the most important thing, guys, is that you have to have a workstation working from home, okay? This cannot be a couch in the living room. This cannot be a dining table, okay? It has to be a desk where you guys do just travel agent stuff, nothing else, okay? And you will measure that area, okay? You will do a square footage of the area where you guys are working. And then you also need to know what your home square footage is. And this is where you're going to get your percentage from, which we'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay. Does everybody understand that? So, like I said, I am currently in my living room, but so here's another thing. It does not have to be a separate room. It can be a living room, but this area we have set up right now, this is exclusively for my travel agent stuff. I bought a desk, which is a write-off. I bought a chair. All of my equipment around here is specifically just for this job. Okay, so I'm able to write this off. Okay, but I cannot write off the rest of the room. It's just the area where you guys are working. Okay, all right. So you answer these questions. Congrats, you can claim home write-offs. Great. This is a really nice website where it can kind of goes over everything that you guys can write off. And we'll kind of go over that a little bit more. This video is pretty great. So let me send this link to you guys. Just post it in the chat. All right. So I'd recommend watching the video. They kind of go a little bit more in depth, exactly what you guys can claim. Okay, we'll go over that a little bit more in detail, but I just want to share this with you guys, okay? All right. Question. Everybody have Expensify? If not, get it? No, okay. What is an Expensify? Okay, so it is a tax, well, not a tax tool, but it's a free service. You don't have to pay. Now you can pay if you want, but I use a free version of Expensify. And what that is it lets me put all of my expenses for each month. It keeps track of all of my receipts, everything, okay? Now, this is on my laptop, but what I do is it's on my phone, okay? So you know how you guys get monthly deductions, right, for Archer membership, right? You guys get that notification saying, hey, your payment was taken out, and they send you that receipt, right? Okay, she has strides. Okay, yeah. But I personally use Expensify, but whatever works for you guys, okay? So when you do your expenses, here's the main thing. IRS doesn't care about your receipts unless they do audit. This is for your own tracking, right? In case they ever audit you, they're gonna need all that paperwork, okay? Nobody in their right mind is gonna keep all of their receipts, okay? So this is a great tool to just upload all your receipts electronically and save them under report, okay? So I did my January, my February. I'm currently working on my March right now because, like I said, it's the end of, well, it's April. So I'm not gonna look at my credit card statements if I forget something. But I went ahead and did my January and February. And then so you can create a report for each month. And then under each report, since I already closed it, here, I'll show it to you. So I started my March report, you'll be able to submit or add an expense, okay? A free version, it does not let you to scan, I think it lets you to scan maybe up to 5 or 10 receipts, I believe. But what I do is I just screenshot it on my phone. This is why I just use it on my phone. And I don't really use the laptop version, okay? So, you can open up your email, right? You get that Archer receipt, right? Your monthly fee right here, right? Here it is. This is, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? This is what it looks like, right? Screenshot it, right? Upload it, say exactly when you were charged, what the total is, what the monthly, what it's for, and just upload it, okay? Expensify saves all of the information online. So like I said, you don't have to have any paper trail or nothing, okay? Once you guys are done for the month, what you do is you'll go back into your reports and then you will close that report. So let me show you exactly what that looks like. Let me pull it up. Hold on a second. It's going to come as a PDF format, which is amazing. If your CPA or your tax person ever asks for these, you can just email it to them directly. Just email all of that information to them because, like I said, it categorizes based on if it's a fee, if it's a travel, if it's like a food expense. All right. So this is for my February. So this is what it's going to look like when you actually upload it, like once you close your report for the month. So it's telling me exactly what my spendings were for the month. It tells me it breaks it down by the date, but then down at the bottom, it saves all of your receipts, all in one file. All right. Here's the thing. Most likely your tax person doesn't want all this. What they want is just like a big sheet of all of your expenses. And I'll explain to you a little bit more. This right here is for you guys to keep in case IRS audits you. Okay. So most likely your CPA lady is not going to need that. Okay, so mine, she's like, I don't want that. Just give me the breakdown of the prices. This is why you want to create a spreadsheet for all of your expenses. Okay. But when I do my expenses, the first thing I do is I put everything in my Expensify first. Then I go to my spreadsheet, and then I put all of my expenses in my spreadsheet. For the end of the year, you're just gonna need the total for every category. That's all you need when you go file your taxes, just the total. Okay, they're not gonna ask you individual fees. They're not gonna do any of that. They're just gonna ask, how much did you spend on your advertisement for the year? You're gonna put that number. How much did you spend on your professional fees? You're gonna put that number. Okay, that's all they're gonna ask. Okay, so this is just for you guys. Make sense? Anybody have questions about that or questions about Expensify? We do have the training on Expensify. Does everybody know where to find it on Team Horizon? If you don't have access to it, ask your mentor to get you unlocked for the Beyond the Basics, because we have training on that. All right. Beyond the Basics, taxes. There you go. Okay. Expensify is super simple. Like I said, you don't have to pay a fee to do it. Use a free version. Just screenshot your receipts versus scanning them, because scanning is what's going to cost money. You're good to go. Okay. Sierra did how to use Google Sheets to track income. I would recommend watching that. Mine looks a little bit different. I do mine slightly different, but she just did this last month. All right. All right. So let's go into the spreadsheets. Okay, so after I uploaded all of my Expensify, so like I said, my February, right? I already went ahead and uploaded it into my spreadsheet. Now, when I first started doing this last year, I was kind of clueless of what my spreadsheet should look like, because everybody does them a little bit differently. Hold on. Let me get rid of this little button here. Okay. So my husband actually made this for you because I'm terrible. So this is through Google Google Sheets. He knows more of how to do all the formula stuff like that. So I asked him. So this was somebody posted this exact spreadsheet on one of the Facebook pages. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to copy this and I'm going to use this. Okay. And this is specifically for travel agents, right? So here's what I'm talking about when you break it down, right? You have your dues and subscriptions, you have your advertising, your internet, you know, any educational, right? You know, if you're going to the convention, meals, right? Utilities, because we can write that off, right? Your HOA, you can write that off, right? If you have a house, office supplies, child expenses, simple, right? So this is what I did last year. But what I found once I started actually filing taxes, this wasn't quite working for me. So this is going to be up to you guys who you're going to be using to file your taxes, right? So last year I filed my taxes online, right? And I filed them with the H&R block. My taxes were super simple. I was just a W-2 employee. I did not file with TurboTax because I heard TurboTax is not the greatest to file for for normal type of taxes. Okay. So, and like I said, I'm not trying to advertise any specific company. You guys can, you know, use whoever you want. This year, I went back to H&R. I decided not to go through my CPA. I decided to just do it online because, like I said, she already guided me through everything that I needed to do. I already knew exactly what I needed to do and how I needed to file it. But H&R was lacking in some aspects, and I did not like their user face. And my situation it was a little bit complicated. One of my employers actually misclassified me as a 1099. I should have been a W-2. And I had to file like an SSA form, which is the form that you file either an employer telling them that, hey, I was misclassified, and like you have to like file amendment. It was a mess. Okay. HRI did not have that option. So what I did, I went online, I started researching the best softwares to use for self-employment 1099 employees, right? Just like us. One of the best one was TurboTax. I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and try it, right? TurboTax is free until you have to file, right? They're not going to charge you upfront until you have to file. Most likely, and I can guarantee you guys, you're not going to be able to file anything free if you are a self-employee or a 1099 employee, there's always going to be a fee. If you have just a W-2 or a very simplified return, TurboTax normally doesn't charge you, like normally you can probably get it for $0. It doesn't work like that if you're a 1099 employee, okay? Yes, one simple returns are free, but not for self-employment. If you look at it, when you go under TurboTax 1099 employee, there's a fee. It's not free. Because they will ask you, do you have a W-2 or do you have a 1099? As soon as you put that 1099, they will automatically switch over to a different, like a bracket or whatever it is, rank. I think it's like $109 or something like that to file.
Yeah, and you're doing it yourself, so why do you want to pay to do it yourself?
Well,
Right?
regardless, you're going to be paying, right? You're going to be paying your tax
Yes.
person too, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just letting people know that most likely they're going to be paying something to,
Yes.
right? So just heads up, right? It just depends. Like I said, every website's a little bit different. So for this last year's return, I spent over $400 because my situation was more complicated. I actually had to have a life help through TurboTax. And I also did the $40 additional for in case I needed to get audited, because I have a feeling I'm going to get audited because of that misclassification. I was like, you know what, I'm going to just do that, pay that extra $40. You know, I will have somebody helping me along the way if I do need to get audited. It's up to you guys what you want to use, right? Or how much you want to pay. Okay. So while I was filing my TurboTax, this is what I came across. Okay. Let me see if it will allow me to send this. If not, like I said, I'll try to post this on Discord or even on YouTube. This is just a common expense checklist for self-employees, right? You can kind of scroll through and see, you know, because everybody's going to be different, right? I don't ever have to deal with this, right? Building or land rentals, right? We probably don't have to deal with anything like that, or, you know, credit cards or anything like that. Most likely, these are going to be the most common expenses for you guys, right? As a travel agents. All right. So I decided to redesign my form. And when I was filing my taxes, TurboTax actually broke it down for me exactly what each of these categories includes. So I actually screenshotted it while I was filing it, because I was like, you know what, next year I'm going to be filing with TurboTax and this is what I want to use. Okay. Their breakdowns for fees is different. It was a mess trying to go from this, right, where I just put dues and subscriptions, and trying to figure out what each of these were, because it was different for TurboTax. Because like I use Calendly, right? Calendly is our like a scheduling software. It's not part of the subscription through TurboTax. It was just a little bit confusing. The link didn't work. Okay, I will try. It's a PDF format, so I will try to upload it on Discord. Okay. Oh, where am I? All right. So I went ahead and just wrote down exactly which each category includes, right? You got your legal and professional fees. These are the fees that you're paying for to Archer every month. Okay. Advertisement, right? Any of the business cards, your website, your online ads, or brochures, go ahead and write it off. Your communications, your cell phone bill, right? Your internet, those are tax write-offs. And we'll talk a little bit more about how you can write those off. Your home office, right? Your office expenses, your supplies. I didn't know there was a difference between meals. Apparently there's a 100% limit of 100% tax deduction or tax write-off, and then there's a 50% tax write-off, right? There's a difference. Your assets, you're purchasing a laptop, that's an asset, okay? More than $200, that is not going to be part of your supplies. That is actually an asset, okay? And then there is some other things. I was thinking of potentially copying this document and then just zeroing everything out and uploading it. I don't know if everybody would want that, if anybody's interested in that. There's already formulas included in it, so everything gets like, you know, I put my total gross income in here, both from my commissions and from, you know, because I'm a team builder, we get the residual bonus pool, so I put all in that in there. I put my instant commissions on there, so it adds everything up with my total net income. Yes, okay. Everybody wants it. Okay, so I'll work on that. Like I said, I have to zero everything out because I'm sure you guys want to see all my all my numbers on here. And then let me just go over each of them. So for vehicle, okay, this is going to be, let's say you're driving to the convention, right? Or you're driving to the regionals, right? That your mileage can be written off. The only thing you have to keep in mind, you do have to specify what is your starting mileage for the year and what is your ending mileage. I decided not to do it this year because last year I only drove to airport to go to the cruise, right? I don't know if I'm gonna do it this year because like I said, it's such a minimal write-off compared to, because you know, if you're using a vehicle for personal business, for personal use and for the business use, they're gonna ask you for a ratio. This is why they're asking for the mileage. So if you don't want to mess with it, I would just say leave it alone. But if you're driving to those regionals, if you're driving to the convention and that's a good 4-hour drive, and you're going to probably drive, I don't know, 200 miles, 300 miles, you know, it just depends. Maybe then it would be a good way to go ahead and, you know, include your mileage. They want exact numbers. Don't approximate that. If they audit you, it's not going to look good. Okay, so you do need to know the exact numbers. And when you're putting it in, they're going to ask you how much mileage you use for business from January to June and from July to the end of the year. So when you are writing off your mileage, and this is what I had to do. So last year, I was a 1099 employee I was temping as a dental hygienist. So I was driving a lot. I was driving, I think overall I drove over 4,000 miles in like the span of eight months on my personal vehicle. And I only drove over 7,000 miles overall for the year. So it was a huge write-off for me for last year to write them all off. You do have to specify the date you're driving, where you're going, and the total amount of mileage you drove back and forth, okay, from your house to that point and from that point back to the house, okay? So you have to keep track of that as well if you're gonna write off your vehicle, okay? You're gonna write off your parking tickets, right? So for example, you know, going convention, right? Or, you know, plus we're going to the fam trip in Punta Cana at the end of the year. I gotta keep receipt of all of my airport, you know, my parking tickets and stuff like that. So you can write that off, right? That's gonna go under your, well, that's actually gonna go under your business, your business travel. I don't think it's gonna go under a vehicle. Oh, actually it does. On TurboTax, it does go under parking fees. Okay, I'm a school, okay, so I'm used to keep a trip log. Yeah, yep, yeah. I had a log, I had everything. And a good thing I did, because let me tell you, that was a lot of mileage I drove. And I remember when the gas went up to almost $5 a gallon, I was like, oh my God, this is expensive. All right, so then we got I already went over the legal professional fees. So, right, this is gonna be any of your fees you're paying, you know, to Archer, Travify, right? If anybody uses Travify or TravelJoy, you know, you're gonna put those under here as well. This is probably not gonna apply to us, but I just put it on there just because why not? Because like I said, this is all the ones that TurboTax recommended when I was filing as a travel agent. So who knows, maybe down the road, I might, I don't know, get a business license, who knows, right? Cell phone and internet service. So this is a little bit complicated. You are going to have to figure out, especially if you have a personal cell phone and not a business cell phone, right? You're gonna have to figure out the usage. Same thing with the internet, right? How much are you using internet versus for business versus personal? This is where it gets a little tricky. In this, back to this page, they do talk about internet and how to write it off. It's kind of complicated. I did not like the way they were explaining it. So what I did was, I went ahead and I calculated my percentage of, like, remember I was saying about the square footage? Okay, that's why I use Stride instead of expensive, because it tracks expensive and mileage. Yeah, I thought Expensify also tracks mileage. I just don't do that. I know it does. Like I said, I haven't tried it myself. But I did.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it, but I did mention it to my tax person and they were like, oh yeah, that's a good one. So it tracks both, and then all you have to do is you just click like a button whenever you start driving, and it
nice.
tracks all of that, and then when you're done, you just click that you're done, when you get to your destination. It's pretty easy to use. I like it so far.
Okay. Well, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, I did not know. Wow, that's pretty neat. Well, there you go. Maybe you should do training on that. You should, seriously. People would like that. All right, let's talk about your house expenses. Okay, because we're already on that part, because I was going to talk about cell phone. All right. Who here owns a house, or who here rents? Because you can write off either the rent or your mortgage interest, homeowners insurance, and property taxes. So it's one or the other. Rent. So for rents, you guys can write off the rent, but it's going to be based on the square footage. So remember I was saying, you need to know what your square footage of your whole house is. Oh my God, I can't talk. And also do the square footage of the area you're working, right? You're going to divide, that ratio. And then this is the ratio. So for me, it takes about 10% of my whole house, okay? 10%. So for each expense, let's say you have your internet monthly fee, right? This is how I did mine, because I don't know how much internet I'm using for my business versus my personal. I probably use about 80% of my internet for business, because like I said, I don't really use personal that much. My husband, on the other hand, right, he also works from home, but he's a W-2 employee. He can't write any of that stuff off, okay? He can't. But you can as a 1099. So I just decided, you know what? If I'm doing the rest of it as a 10%, I'm going to do it as a 10% as well, okay? Because by the time you add all of that up, there's going to be, oh, I didn't put all the total in there. It's a big chunk, by the end of the year, right? So our internet monthly fee is $80, right? So it's about $8 that I can write off. Your electricity, so SMECO is our electricity. So this is, you write it off, right? You can write it off. Once again, it's going to be based on the percentage. Your water fee, right? Mine varies a month. So like I said, that's why I didn't do the May, but I already know what the April is because they already gave me the bill. If you have HOA, write it off, right? Calculate it, right? We pay a yearly fee that I'm, divided by 12. So this is on my monthly fee. Once again, 10% of that, or 9%. Now, so like I said, a rent, right? Rent, just take whatever percentage of your home office takes, right? Let's say 10% or 20%, right? Multiply that of whatever your monthly payment for the rent, that's going to be your tax write-off. If you own a house, it's a little bit different. You can only write off either a mortgage interest, a homeowner's insurance, and property taxes. All these are going to be on your 1098 form, or you can just go to your mortgage supplier, which is what I did. They already have all information for me. They already told me exactly how much I'm paying for the year, what my property taxes are for the year. Mortgage interest is going to be different, because that's going to be, you don't have to wait until 1098 for the following year, right? They're going to send it to you by the end of the year. Then you can do the calculations and you can just add it on, and then you can just, plug it into this, to the formula, and it's going to just recalculate everything for you. Okay. So these are going to be your home expenses. Oh, you also know you guys can write off your toilet paper, your house. I learned that yesterday. So yeah, you can write off your toilet paper. You can write off cleaning supplies, but it's just going to be the percentage of it. So yeah, if you use a lot of toilet paper, there you go, right? Especially when that shortage wars for the toilet paper, right? Do you guys have any questions about this, the home expenses? That's a great for me. We go through a lot. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But once again, here's the thing though, when you guys are shopping for things like that, right? If you're going to Walmart and you need office supplies or you need anything for office, set this aside. Do not purchase it with the rest of your stuff. Why? Because you're going to need that receipt. Purchase office supplies separately from the rest of your groceries, because that receipt, you're going to scan that or take a picture of it and you submit it to, wherever you, yes, separate transactions, correct, right? Don't lump everything together, okay? Same thing if you're going to buy a new desk, a new chair, separate purchases. Do not mix it, okay? All right. So that's pretty much it for that. Let's talk about your estimated taxes. Do you guys know that you're supposed to be paying estimated taxes? Everybody's aware of it? Every quarter as a 1099 employee? Do you know what I'm talking about? Because your taxes are not taken out of your, no, okay. Yes, as a 1099, you are supposed to be paying quarterly taxes. Here's the thing. This is what my tax lady told me. If you do not pay it and IRS catches it, because at the end of the year, once you start filing it, you are supposed to say, yes, I paid my estimated taxes. You're supposed to say exactly how much you paid. If you did not pay any of it, they will penalize you. I don't know how much they will penalize you for, but they will. If you underpay your taxes, they will also penalize you, okay? This is where the estimated taxes come from. Every time you get paid, this is where, this is gonna be based off your commissions. This is gonna be based off, if you're a team builder, right, you're gonna get that residual, all of that. Put when you got paid. It's gonna be state by state and federal. It's gonna be different. I'm in Maryland. I know that my state tax is 7.5%. You guys can Google your own state and figure out what your percentage is. So out of this amount that I got paid on my Kimbo card, right, for that month, I was supposed to take out $25 for state. Federal is different. Federal is going to be based on your household income. How to check that? Go to, can be anything. I just did TurboTax tax calculator, right? Are you filing married or single, right? We're married. Are you joining? Yep, we are. Plug in your age by the end of the year. No, continue. All right, so this is just going to be estimated. How much did you make last year, right? I'm just going to put random numbers. Oh, nope. How much did my spouse make? We did not have any unemployment income. How much was withheld for federal taxes? Let's say we leave this blank, right? And you say continue. It will tell you what your tax bracket is, okay? That's the percentage you're supposed to be taking out for federal taxes. Does that make sense for everybody? Ideally, you're supposed to be taking out 30% of that income for taxes. Okay, yes, good. This is what I'm talking about. This is how much your federal is going to be taking out. There is a deadline for every quarterly payments. Yes, you guys can find this information right here. So let me send a link. So actually, one of the first quarter is coming up. It's going to be April 15th. So actually right around the corner, right? Because our taxes are due April 16th and then their quarterly taxes are due April 15th. I mean, day apart. So for IRS, for federal, you can actually make payments online. They make it super easy. You go here, it says make a payment, right? Go to right to the IRS. Let me send you the link again. You will create an ID.me website account. They will verify your information. They'll ask you upload your license. They're gonna ask you to scan your face. So it's very secure. When you go in to pay your taxes, here you go, you'll pay with direct pay. It will prompt you, there's gonna be several options and you'll choose, I will pay my estimated federal taxes. And that's what you're gonna be paying, okay? That's for federal. State's a little bit different, okay? Keep track of when you guys paid it, okay? I normally put I will pay mine next week. I will put exactly when I paid my federal. Now my state, Maryland doesn't let us pay anything online. I have to send them a form. Once again, you guys are gonna have to look up by state and see what your state requires you to do. This is what mine requires. Is I went straight to Maryland website. This is the form that I had to fill out last year. The personal tax payment. If you're filing jointly, you will put your husband's information or you know, your spouse's information, whatnot. You will fill all this information out. So I print it all out right here. It says estimated payment quarterly, right? If you're first time filer, you're going to put that in, but that's just going to be the first time. The rest of it, you're just going to do the estimated payment. You're going to put the amount of dollars and you're going to send them the check. It tells me right here, make the check or money order to right here to Comptroller of Maryland. This is where you're going to send the check. And normally it takes them about 1 to 2 weeks to process the check. Okay, so this is how I do my state. Once again, you guys have to figure out your state. Every state's different. You might be able to pay it online. I can't. Okay, but yes, you are supposed to be paying your quarterly taxes as a 1099 employee. I would rather you guys overpay than underpay. Like I said, like I'm paying about what, 27.5%, right? So like I said, an average is normally 30%. I would rather you guys overpay because you're going to get the money back, right? If you overpay, they'll give you the money back by the end of the year. If you underpay, what's going to happen is you're probably going to owe, right? And I also don't want you guys getting in trouble. I mean, I don't know how true it is. I mean, this is what my tax lady told me, but she said, yeah, if you underpay, they can penalize you too. What IRS does. All right, so I hope this makes sense to people. Yes? Anybody have questions about that? And like I said, you guys can look, it helps a lot. Yep. Look at the payment periods, right? Exactly. I already gave you guys the link, you know, exactly when you're supposed to be paying your quarterly taxes. And then the last quarter, you guys are going to be actually paying the following year. Okay. I wanted to actually add something. Let me look. That's a payment for both federal and state. Through IRS, when you go to IRS directly, this will prompt you to pay just the federal, payment schedule. I mean, you're talking about this form right here?
So the payment schedule, like how you said you pay the federal
yes,
on April
correct.
15th, that's for both state and federal?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yep. So always estimate it, yep. Even if you like submit your check on this date, as long as the check date is dated this, you'll be fine. Even if they like withdraw the check like 2 weeks later, which is what I ended up doing last year, you're fine. Here's the thing, as long as you guys are paying quarterly taxes, even if you miss the deadline and you make the payment the following week, it's just, the point of it is just, you just have to do this. If you don't, they will penalize you, or, you know, as long as you guys do it. I mean, they're probably more lenient with somebody who's paying versus somebody who's not paying. Okay, so if you can't do it on the 15th, but you can do it on the 17th, do it. At least you did it. Let me go back up. I forgot to mention, I also keep track of my expenses here. I mean, my income, but it's whatever you guys want to do. I was going to actually mention Square. So Square is a little bit tricky. So I actually talked to Jody the other day because she said, I actually don't put my Square instant commissions. She said the reason why is because, and this is what Square tells us right here, right? They will send you a 1099 form if you make $600 or more. And every state's a little bit different. It tells you exactly, like for Maryland, right? I'm in Maryland. It tells me right here. They're going to send me a 1099 form if I make $600 or more, right? I felt uncomfortable because I was like, well, and I don't know what you guys think, and I'm curious to hear your opinions. Income is income, right? You're still making that instant commission. To me, it makes sense to put that as my income for the month, even though I only made $50 this month. But let's say you do profit agility, right? And let's say, I mean, obviously you're gonna probably put that in there. If you're, charging a client $300, $400, they are gonna send you that 1099 form. So you are gonna have to put Square information on there. And on TurboTax, it's a different, it's going to be a different line. So, excuse me. So don't lump the two together, keep them separate. Especially if Square is going to send you a 1099 form. I don't know. To me, it makes sense to put it on my income because, like I said, it is income. I'm not just producing it from the thin air, right? But she said she's not doing it. So, because she's like, yeah, I'm going off what the Square tells me exactly on here. So I don't know. Up to you guys. You guys decide what you want to do. And then I was going to say one more thing. What was I going to say? Lost my train of thought. There was one more information I wanted to go over with you guys. And I forgot what I wanted to do. It was something important. While I'm thinking of that, anybody have questions? Inside of this. So we went over Expensify. We went over keeping track of your expenses. And then, yeah, definitely watch Sierra's. Like, this is how she does hers. She just kind of lumps everything together, but she kind of lumps her income together. I do mine slightly different. And like I said, I put mine at the bottom and I lump all of my like residuals. Like I said, I'm still working on my March and I'm just doing a total for the month, including, well, Square is a little bit different, but like I just put the total for the month and I just, I should have just done these ones since it's just for the month of February and just left those two alone. There was one more thing I want to talk to you guys about. About meals, business travel. It's going to come to me and it's going to be something very important. Hold on. Yeah, you're welcome. I know taxes are a nightmare. Where would I be able to find this recorded meeting? Okay, I will be able to upload this on my YouTube channel, and then I will definitely, so as I mentioned in the beginning, I will put all these links at the top into like under the description of my, so I have a YouTube channel. I'll just put it under there. You guys can easily access it. In terms of this checklist right here, like I said, I'll try to post it on Discord and hopefully you will allow me to share with you guys because this is a PDF file, so maybe that's why it's not opening up as a link. So yeah, I will post it on Discord probably later today. I missed the beginning. Should I get a separate EIN for our business? You don't have to. So as a team builder, if you ever decide to do that, you are going to have to register EIN. It will ask you for EIN, but it will be like an optional spot. So I have an EIN, but like I said, it's because I have 4 accounts with Archer, because they only allow 2 with social and 2 under EIN. So I have an EIN. I mean, it doesn't cost you guys anything to register if you want to, right? If you actually want to legally register your business, and I think some states actually require you to do that. I think you have to register with them. You just go online, fill out the form, they give you that number immediately. Yeah. Did you go over the square footage? I did go over the square footage. So if I think, Rena, you said you're renting. Figure out what your square footage of the whole house is or apartment. If you don't know, ask your landlord or whoever, or estimate it, okay? I looked at my paperwork, at my mortgage, when they did our appraisal, I looked at that. And then you will measure square footage of the area you guys are working at, right? So like I said, if this is gonna be your, like I said, I'm in a living room. You're only gonna be measuring the square footage of the area you guys are working in, but it cannot be an area where you are, like it cannot be a dining table, okay? It cannot be a couch. It has to be a designated area. So take a square footage of that. You know, you're gonna divide that over the total square footage of your house. And then that's gonna be your percentage, okay? This is how you're gonna figure out what your home write-off stuff. Oh, that's what I was gonna talk about. Thank you. Home write-off. Somebody mentioned last on here that they just now started making income this year. This happened to me, right? I did not make any income last year. So I actually wasn't able to claim my home utilities write-offs. But here's what I learned. And make sure you guys keep your last year's numbers, right? So here it is. I did all my calculations and I was like, man, I did all it for no, like, I can't even claim this, because when you're putting it in, they're going to ask you for your income. If you don't have any income, you cannot claim your home utilities. But apparently you guys can carry it over. So when you guys are filing next year, there is a term that's called carryover. You can actually put these from last year's into your next year's, I just hope
Deduction?
that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. If you know what I'm talking about, which I didn't know about it until yesterday, because I was reading about it, because like, oh man, that's kind of neat. Because I saw that when I was actually filing on TurboTax, and I saw that, and I was like, what is that? What is a carryover? And it explained to you, right? TurboTax makes it super easy. You can just click a little question mark, and it tells you exactly what to do. Or if you don't know, you can Google it. But yeah, you can claim it next year, since if you guys didn't make anything last year, which is what happened to me, right? Like I said, all my incomes are coming this year. If you don't qualify this year, you can claim it next year. Okay, here's what they call carryover. Yeah, okay, cool. Everybody got it. So hopefully that makes sense. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I know I was forgetting something about the home write-offs. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Just have to be organized. All these totals right here at the end of, like I said, they will just ask you for the total. When you're plugging the numbers in, they're just going to ask you, what's your total for the whole year for the office expenses. Like I said, I'm still working on this for the month of March. But yeah. Are you able to give us? Yeah, I would have to copy this, make a copy of the spreadsheet. I will just delete all of the numbers, but I will leave the formulas on there, so it just makes more sense. So like I said, once you guys start typing it in, it will just automatically repopulate everything for you guys. Obviously, this is going to be different. You guys can do whatever you want with it, but everybody's going to have some different. I need to remember not to lump my internet fee. I have to change that because I forgot this is different. Communications is different. So we don't actually have cell phone bill, but that's going to be separate too. With cell phones, you're actually probably going to have to figure out your usage. So Monica, do you do that too? Like the cell phone? Do you just estimate your usage for the business versus personal?
Not really. I mean, my bill, we have a family plan, so it's like $25 a line. So my line is $25.
Oh, is that what you're
And
writing off?
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad used to work from home, and he had to keep track of all of his Verizon bills and everything. And I think he was actually able to pull up and he would be like long conference calls, like 3 hours long. I think some phone, we had Verizon. I think they were able to give us like a breakdown of exactly what his calls, like minutes were. It was more complicated.
Yeah, because I mean, in addition to using your phone for calls, you're also using it for your social media and all that other
Correct.
stuff. So yeah.
Correct. Yeah, this is why I'm like, this is why I was kind of iffy about the whole internet, because I was like, I'm not sure. I'm just going to put the 10% because that's what I do for everything else. But yeah, I will, Lisa, so I will, like I said, I will make a copy of this template, and then I will just zero everything out, and then I will share with you guys. I will put it under, I will either put it on Discord once I post the video, but I will also put the link into the actual YouTube, like under the YouTube video. I'll put all the links in there. All the links at the top that I share with you guys. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it, honestly, guys. Just thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, just be very organized. I think that's the most important part. And then don't wait until the last second to do all that because this is going to be a headache, right? I'm looking at March right now and I'm like, oh my God, I actually have a lot more expenses for March. Because like I said, I have 4 different accounts. And I'm also, oh, one more thing. I'm sorry, guys, because if you have a husband or if you have a significant other that does that with you, which is my case, right? I just signed out my husband, which he doesn't do anything. He's just signed out just because he wants the perks. But I'm building under him as well. So he is going to have his own expenses. If you are claiming with your significant other, with the spouse, and but you guys are sharing the same business name, you're gonna have to figure out who is writing off what. Book under him and get 90% commission. Okay. So yes, you're gonna have to keep your write-offs separate, right? So I would have to create this whole spreadsheet. So actually at the bottom where I put me, I'm probably going to copy this and I'm just going to put Matthew and I will just do his spreadsheet like same way, but just his expenses. But when you are doing your taxes next year and IRS asks you, like, you know, if your significant other does the same thing as you do, you're going to have to split the write-offs between the two of you. You cannot both claim the same thing. Okay, so you're going to have to figure out what works. What if we normally file as married, filing separately? It's more fun. Then that's fine. If you're filing separately, then you're just going to click. Oh. Well, it's just like with the mortgage. I mean, I don't think you can claim if you're married but filing separately and you have, I know for the house, only one of you can claim it as a write-off. So I would assume you're probably gonna have to split the all these write-offs as well between the two of you. You might have to see, I don't know that answer. I don't want to give you a wrong answer. I'm sorry. Because I'm not a tax expert. No, it's okay. I remember when I was trying to file separately at one time just to see if it will give us a better, like a higher breakdown. It was telling me that I can't, because our mortgage interest was like really high. I could only put it under one of us. Yeah. I have a feeling it's going to be the same way for all this as well. All right. Any other questions? No? Everybody's feeling better now about taxes? Let me stop sharing. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.